So, Mike, you got to kick us off with the intro again. So this is like a brand new episode. Do you guys want to go through the our year in review thing that Spotify sends us in this episode?
Sure.
Yeah,
I thought we
whatever.
were supposed to do this next week.
No, that's this. So
This is next week.
this is next week.
Why we're
So
not doing
we'll
this
have
next
three
week?
episodes in the bank. So okay, so let me explain to you what I'm planning to do with this final episode, so that yeah, you guys can maybe even veto it if you want. So before I tell you a
I
stupid
doubt I'm going
thing,
to veto it.
you guys. Okay, so for this final episode, I'll do a year in review.
Yeah, okay. I'm in. Let's do this shit.
It's the greatest hits of.
Yeah, exactly. So
Greatest hits.
I plan to do this like each year, like the end of the
Yeah,
year episode, and just like reflect on like
Wow,
what
we're
we
in
did
it for
each
the
year.
long haul, eh?
Oh yeah,
yeah. This is taking off, bro.
oh
It
yeah.
is doing very
This
well,
is going to
actually.
go somewhere. I'm telling you.
Onwards and upwards. Are you guys good with that episode then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should say, welcome to the final episode of the final episode of the third of the final episode with a side order of fries of the Not Our Finest Hour end of the season podcast.
This is it. This is the end of the year, guys.
The end of the end of the end of the year.
Can
Happy
you
New Year.
can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
I can see your screen.
Okay, so this will be on YouTube, but we do have to give some sort of audio for those just listening to the podcast
Okay.
of what we're seeing here. So I guess we'll take turns or we'll cut each other off and talk about what we
I'm
see on this screen.
I'm putting on real glasses so I can actually see. The yellow glasses are effective and cool, but I can't read anything at
So
all.
what you can see here is it says this is our Spotify Wrapped for podcasters specifically, for a content creator specifically, and we've got you created 987 minutes of new content this year. That's more than 91% of other creators in your category. We're in the top 9% of creators in this category of business, and we've only been live for 6 months. So
Sick.
congratulations, guys.
We're exploring our route. We're in the top 9%. I never dreamed I'd be in the top
I
9%.
did not expect this to
Well, this isn't going very well.
This website is optimized for certain devices and this says that is like our podcast all wrapped up in a right there.
I guess I should have tested this before I even started something like this. I'm gonna try a different browser, but in the meantime, I do have other questions for you guys to kick off this final episode of the year. And this is your guys' first episode, or sorry, first podcast. So I want to know what you expected when we first decided to start this podcast. What lived up to those expectations? What did not live up to those expectations? Because I fully expected to be in a lawsuit by now, or to
Touch
something
wood.
like that to have happened. But I don't know. What did you guys expect of this Not Our Finest Hour since starting?
So what I didn't expect from
Either
it.
one. What you did
Okay, so
expect or what you didn't.
what I didn't expect from it was to create such a good friendship with you two guys. I really look forward to
Ah,
like no, I don't I mean like I thought it would be fun and we'd have a good time, but I really look forward to once a week being able to vent about whatever stupidity went on that week or share an I just I think when you own a business, you don't have as much social interaction with people as you should. You kind of get wrapped in your own business and your own shit and you're constantly working, and I think that having an outlet where there's a couple people that I have for 2 hours a week, I don't have to. It's not that I'm not thinking about the business because we're literally talking about the business, but I'm not actually thinking like, is that motherfucker going to pay me? Yeah, like I don't, it's just a different. I've that part of it I didn't expect to have like a real good connection with people and a place to like relieve some stress for. I didn't expect that part of it. I did expect, I guess, that some people would listen and some people do. That be anyways, whoever wants to go next is up.
I'll rally on that. Like, I didn't expect it to be such a huge stress reliever for me. Like, work is stressful all day, right? And like, we meet on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, whatever day it is. But it is absolutely a venting time and time to blow off some steam. And I don't have to think about making decisions for the day. I get to share some stories of crazy shit that happens on commercial sites a lot of the time, and rally off you guys and what crazy shit happened to you this week. And um, it's just like hours of story time, and I love it because I don't get to talk to a lot of other contractors about shit like that.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out on my end. I would say, in terms of like what I expected and what I did not expect, like literally, I did not expect, or I always had it in the back of my mind that maybe we wouldn't make it too far. We would push off weeks, and then it's actually turned into like a really recurring podcast, which is awesome in 6 months.
There was a
And
point where we sort of fumbled near the beginning.
yeah,
No
like
way,
right at the
we
beginning, right?
were
Where
like,
like we
we
pushed off
missed a
like two
week or something.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that that might be reoccurring, and reiterate what Mike was saying. And like I look forward to these nights, and just like on a personal note, and not to get too deep into that, on my personal side of things, I've been going through a lot in the past, I don't know, probably since we started this podcast. So just to have like this, where I can sit down for an hour to 2 hours with you guys virtually, actually means quite a lot to me for what I'm going through right now. So, yeah, this podcast has been amazing, just not only for content creation, but for myself personally. And since I can't get this working, there goes this episode. But for the real part of this episode, I do want to talk to you guys about this past, I guess, 6 months. So we started recording somewhere in July. We launched in August. That means we've been well, if we started like beginning of July recording, we're like 6 months into this. So we've got a good like year in review. I want to ask you guys, do you have any things that stick out to you in terms of stories that you can think of from the podcast, or things that have come up? We've got, it's really funny to think about, but we've got like a lot of great inside jokes that have come up time and time again, from Cornwall distribution centers to Interlock Ian. A lot of great stories. And I don't know. I want to ask you guys if there's anything that like really stands out to you, that makes you laugh, or anything that you can think of. And what I'll do for the listener is, whenever we talk about something, I'll try to find that from the previous episode and I'll cut it in. So you'll maybe hear a noise or something, and it'll cut into that episode, and then we'll come back to us talking, which is like live on this. But anything that like stands out to you guys?
I know it just happened today, so it's fresh. But the whole Chad and the sod production rate thing. What did you want to talk about? The rate at which Caleb's guys
I wanted
installed.
Caleb posted a story today about how they track everything, right? They track the productivity for sod and topsoil and all this stuff, building patios. I saw his labor, his rate for his labor installing sod
How
today.
closely did you look at his story for this?
I watched it one time, so
Did
I
you
could
pause
be
it?
no, I could be completely wrong,
All
but
right.
I'm fairly certain
I don't want to get sued because if you're
I don't think Caleb would sue us. Then I don't know.
well, he's in the US, that seems like a big hassle. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, what was the labor rate for the sod?
Anyway, and not the laborer's rate, but his production rate was 200 square feet of sod in an hour for a laborer, which I don't know how far he's carrying this sod, but that seems really low for my guys, at least.
It's 20 rolls.
That's 20 rolls of sod in an hour. If I saw my guys laying 20 rolls of sod in an hour, that would be their last day on the job.
Okay, but here's the thing. You have to take into account that the kind of sod he does is mostly sodding around patios and patching, and most of the sod you do is bulk field laying.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true.
I'm not sticking up for him unless he mentions me particularly on his podcast again, not you guys. Then I'm definitely sticking up for Caleb and his sodding rate. But If
I'm
we were
not
to,
saying it's wrong by any means. He knows his numbers better than me, better than anybody, right?
So they're installing a roll every 3 minutes.
One roll of sod. I mean, does this take into account the topsoil as well? I don't know all these things, right? Like it could, like,
I think his rate is going to be lower than yours though, because he doesn't have like he's like you're doing a lot of bulk field work.
yeah,
I think it's just like the best.
yeah,
For me, it's like the best thing that happened because I find it hilarious because it's like just 200 square foot per man and like 20 rolls of sod. It's like 5 minutes a ride. It cracked me up. And then obviously it's an ongoing thing. And I like the whole interaction of it with Caleb. I think it's funny that it goes back. Anything that goes back and forth on the internet, it gets me. I think it's good. And now there's like, Jeremy posted that thing. I was like, now there's more people posting about Caleb's super shitty facade production rate. It just Chad Souls. That was to me was like a highlight thing. I love it. I think it's hilarious.
yeah, and like you don't know which things are gonna pop off, right? Like you make it. I didn't mean for it to be a whole fucking extravaganza about Caleb's shitty sod rate, but here we are. Other people are making fun of him. No, not teasing. We're poking fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to offend anyone. I guess I don't want to offend anyone. But no, it's. I love how we can all have fun with it, right? Like, because for the most part, I don't think we're all industry professionals, but we can all poke fun at ourselves in a different way.
Yeah,
and I think that's pretty great because there's enough seriousness in all of our business that if we can just blow off some steam for 2 hours and then a little bit here and there during the day on Instagram and stuff like that, it goes a long way to keeping our sanity.
I also
go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike. I was gonna say I also enjoyed Chad's water pump. That was something that happened that
That's right.
The whole water pump story about going and getting it being too big, and it's like this $3,000 anchor that's kicking around. I just liked it. It was a good story. I feel like we need to start this hour with a question for Chad.
Uh-oh.
And it is trash pumps, hot or not?
Okay. So.
Well, no, hot or not?
Hot? I don't know.
Like, are they hot or are they not hot?
Are they hot? I don't know how to answer that.
Well, you're
I'll tell you my story, then you tell me if it's a hot or a not.
Not okay.
Okay. So I went into RSI a month ago. I said, I need a trash pump. We're trying to fill up the water truck faster, all this stuff, right? It says, we have nothing, we can order you one. It says, how big? Let's say they have a 2-inch in stock, not fast enough. They have a 1-inch in stock, which is like a garden hose size. It said, give me a 3-inch. We'll go with that. I left the store. He calls me back. He goes, do you want a full trash pump or a semi-trash pump? And I'm not a water guy, right? I don't know the difference. I said, give me a full trash pump. Which I apparently it just means bigger shit can go through the pump without blowing it up, right? So he called me yesterday, says your trash pump's in. I get there and the thing is fucking ginormous. It's like takes 2 people to carry this thing. Don't know how I'm going to carry it down to the river when it's time to fucking fill the trash pump. So now I got this useless fucking giant 3-inch trash pump, all because I didn't know the difference between a full trash pump, which is apparently 400 pounds, and a half or a semi trash pump, which is like 200 pounds. So anyway, we're going to keep it, but we got a trash pump that's
so I would say full trash pumps, not hot.
Not hot.
Too heavy.
Semi trash pumps.
I love how the guy asked you semi or full, and of course full. Give me the full.
Of course full. Yeah. Of course.
Without even asking her.
I didn't know that there was a 200-pound difference between the two of them.
For me, even if the semi pump was 200 pounds, I don't want to hawk that thing down to the river.
If you need water, you'll do some incredible things. I have needed water in my life. I'm just saying that seems like
fucking heavy as fuck.
That's normal for us. Like, I mean,
They grow them different in Cornwall.
they grow them. We've done it before where, like, we've had our water truck, right? We'll park it down by the creek or whatever. And our water guy will be filling with the trash pump, semi-trash pump, because we couldn't carry the big one down there. And he'd be there with the pail for an hour, cursing, trying to prime this pump.
Yes.
And there'll be kids fishing down the fucking creek or something, and they're listening to this guy swearing for an hour, just trying to fill the trash pump.
I want to point out that Chad has all the permits needed to pump water into a container from a creek. Just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do.
And his tank has a drop in it with an air gap, so the water hasn't so the water can't backflow into the pipe and go
You're
into
right.
the creek. Like there's, I just want to say there's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes
Behind the scenes.
while this guy is trying to prime the pump and swear. Like there's a couple things, like definitely had a permit to pump out of a public creek and definitely had an air gap in the tank, and there wasn't just a hose draped into the tank that could possibly suck chemicals from the tank back into the river.
This is
None
a
of that-
Walkerton scenario. This is
None of that
completely-
was going on.
Yeah, none of that was going on. No, it was
Totally.
completely legit, legal. We looked into it. It's fine. We talked to the right people. We were
We got the
Every-
paperwork.
everything was A1 except for the swearing.
That's a landscape problem, though, right? Like
That is the landscape
these
problem.
these things happen all the time. Caleb posted a story about how kid contractor he wanted to have a pallet worth of pumps and hoses and shit like that. Well, I got tons of that shit laying around the yard, just kicking around. That's fucking landscape problems.
That is the landscape problem.
You went with the high flow trash pump,
I feel trash pump.
which brings us to the deaf cube, and that came to a conclusion. But that was a multi-week thing. From
Yes.
Mike bringing up the deaf cube to finally getting rid of the deaf cube. We were going to have a Not Our Finest Hour giveaway of deaf fluid.
Deaf fluid. The deaf cube. So now I'm like, we have this like 1,000 liters of deaf fluid that no one's burning. The fuck are we gonna do with it? Like we're paying, like we don't now. I'm like, we might as well just convert back to getting the jugs, because the truck that burned a lot of it's gonna sit there doing nothing until we find someone to drive it. Or if it sits there doing nothing for the whole year, I could care less. Like, and the pickup trucks don't use enough of it to matter. They use like 1 jug of deaf fluid a month. Like, I feel like running an ad saying, everyone bring your vehicles here and we'll pump them all full of deaf. Like, free deaf giveaway at our yard just to get this tote the fuck out of my sea can. Get rid of it.
It
Yeah.
really bothers you that much to have a tote just sitting there full. I have 5 totes full of water that have sat there for months, just smelling like rotten water. We have hard water at the yard, so it turns like a little rusty and stuff. There's 5 totes lined up, just full of water, waiting to be lifted into a truck for some reason, watering trees or something like that. I don't know if it's good to ferment your water like that, but we have fermented water at the yard. The hydroseeder sits filled up until it's ready to go, and that smells like hot death because the lid's closed there. There's hay and bark and stuff floating around in it. But like, it smells like something died in there when you lift the lid to fill it whenever it's time to put a hydroseed load. But anyway, we got tons of shit at the yard, so 1 tote of deaf fluid would definitely be fine with me.
This sounds
Okay.
like the 75 hard argument. Drinking that much water is not hard. Having 1 tote of water of deaf fluid is not hard. Paper King. I got 5.
So the problem is you're not paying $28 a month for each of those totes of water.
You're right.
And if the totes of water freeze, it doesn't matter. But the deaf fluid has to be heated all winter. And I'm like, I don't think we're going to go through 1,000 liters of this shit.
There you go.
I have no idea. Like when we talk about having like being totally out of control and not knowing your costs, I ordered this tote of deaf fluid. I knew it was $28 a month. I have no idea how much it costs to fill it. Like, fuck, there could be 8 G's of deaf fluid in this fucking thing. I have no idea how much it costs to fill the tote with deaf fluid. And I'm like, now we don't need it. So what do we like? We get like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just like, whatever. Well, we can keep it in the sea can until it gets under 0 every night for 5 nights.
I got a great idea. I know how to get rid of it. We need not our finest hour podcast giveaway. A tote of death fluid. That's a great start.
But you can't keep the tote because I have to return it.
Oh, that's right.
You can have the fluid, but not the tote. So if someone needs 1,000 liters of death fluid, they can. Because the guy at our yard too, he has like a whole bunch of trucks, but they're all like from 1985 Max Superliners, so they don't need any death fluid. Like no one needs any death fluid. Like, fuck. Because I thought we were smart last year. We bought a skid of it.
Oh yeah.
Because if you buy it by the skid, it's way cheaper. Like that might work for you because you have a heated space too, right?
Yeah, we got a shop that we can pump the heat to. I don't use it that much. Like my Ram goes through a jug a month at least. The Ford that I had, even the Ford dump truck will burn like I think we've ever put 4 jugs in it, and it's 60,000 kilometer life. Like maybe, like it just doesn't ask for it.
So this is making my whole death fluid 1,000 liters seem worse.
Yeah.
I'm just how to go bankrupt in 1 year.
Should have taken that $17,000 call.
Yeah, paid off the death fluid. Fuck. The death cube is gone. We are free and clear.
I'm still blown away that it's pig urine. Or were you just pulling my leg? Is that...
No, that's what someone told. Okay, I didn't look that up. I took it as someone said that's what it was, and I trusted them. So I have trusted the wrong people lots of times. So this could be on the scale of me trusting someone and getting fucked. This would be like a 1 over some of the 10s that have happened to me. But it might not be accurate. I'm not 100% sure.
It's 2/3 deionized water and 1/3 urea.
Pig urea?
It doesn't quite say in a quick Google search.
Well,
So it could be true.
It could be true.
Regardless, don't start drinking it tomorrow.
Don't drink.
Yeah.
One of the episode that cracked me up the most.
When I was the Permacon rep, I have lots of videos of me handing out pickled eggs at events. That's true.
Maybe you could bring that back for Congress.
We should bring a jar.
That's the giveaway. Not our finest hour podcast giveaway.
That's pickled eggs.
A single pickled egg.
Everyone can get a pickled egg from the Not Our. So whose booth in the landscaping world is crazy enough to have us in their booth
pickled eggs,
handing out pickled eggs?
Oh,
like who do you think? I'm pretty sure it won't be Pave Tool. I don't even know if they come to. I bet the MQuip guys would let us hand out pickled eggs in their booth.
Yeah, they're good.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah. Think we should ask him?
We should.
Yeah. Ask him if we can have a Not Our Finest Hour meetup in his booth handing out pickled eggs. The pickled eggs were very popular at the fucking when I used to do the Permacon events. You want to know the funniest thing? One of the funniest things that happened to me. I worked at Permacon. So, like my first 2 weeks there or something, they were like, there was an email that said you need to do like 30 events this year. And I was like, that seems like a lot, but okay. Because there's only so many weeks in the season. Maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was 60. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing here. So I scheduled like 60 events. And all I did that year that I worked there was like fucking set up table and give out food. and trying to give out T-shirts and set up tents. And it was like 3 days a week. I had these fucking events scheduled. It was crazy. And then at some point, someone said to me, "Why are you doing so many events?" I'm like, because of the email. Like, and I think I might have read the email.
That was for the whole group.
Glance. I didn't want to have 60 events. I thought I had to be the one to do all the events. And all I did was drive around. Because when I started that job, I was driving a Volvo station wagon.
Oh man!
But then I couldn't get all the stuff for the events. It had a roof carriers, and I got one of those like torpedo ski things. It was all full of like shit, constant, endless fucking events. I ended up buying the brown pickup truck I still have because I was like, "Fuck, I can't get all this shit for these events in." But one of the things we gave out all the time was pickled eggs. There's a I'm shocked that there's a video on my Instagram when I was the rep, and we're at Hardco, and we're starting a bonfire in one of their like 40-ton shovel buckets,
Right
and
on.
we're throwing full skids in it, and we're dousing it with fucking gas, and I throw a fucking match or something in it, and the thing explodes in my face. I was doing this while I was working for like one of the 50 biggest companies in the world. I don't understand how I wasn't getting fired. Anyways, that was a crazy year in my life. That was like one of the weirdest years I ever had.
What starts this pickled egg giveaway thing? Like, what
because
goes through your? Like, how does that make sense?
I think I was at Costco, and I had to get like it used to be like get coffee and donuts and give them away in the morning because most of those events are first thing in the morning, right? And so the first event I did coffee and donuts, but you gotta like pre-order the big thing from Tim Hortons and take it back, and it's like a whole shit show.
So the eggs were out of convenience.
So I started going to Costco and buying like protein bars and fuck. I used to have this like little barbecue, and we used to. I don't remember all the shit we used to cook. Like we had like all kinds of frozen things, and we'd be like cooking them up and or giving them away. Like
The thing I want to know is, did you reach in personally with your own hand and grab the eggs and give them to people?
I don't think my hand fit in the jar. So
Those
when
are
I
big
was
jars.
when I was in Costco one day, there was this giant display of pickled eggs, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a jar of those because they're just funny. And like 99% of what I was, like that year, one time we made hamburgers. We started making hamburgers, and it was a Jamaican patty, a hamburger, and then a Jamaican patty, and giving them away for a long time. And then at Beaver Valley, we did one where it was a maple dip donut, a hamburger, a slice of Monterey Jack, a hamburger, a slice of Swiss, pea meal bacon, regular bacon, and then another maple dip donut.
That's incredible.
Giving away these like crazy, all this crazy food. I think that when we were doing the donut one, I was like, man, these burgers are worth like $8. Handing them out to random people. But I would say that the year I was doing that, good or bad, more attention got attracted to that manufacturer.
I was gonna say, like, you have these great ideas, you're making all these cool fucking things for people to eat, and then on the other side of things, let's put out this 2-piece wall with a dovetail system that's a pain in the ass to install. Like two completely fucking opposite trains of thought coming out of one company.
Maybe that's why I only worked there for like 18 months.
I can tell you, no other rep is handing out pickled eggs. So you're definitely doing something different.
We used to buy the non-alcoholic beer and wine coolers and shit. Be giving them out to people and sitting in their pickup trucks in the parking lot, chugging a Heineken like a de-alcoholic Heineken.
By far, my favorite episode.
Well, I don't know if I like the pickled egg because I felt like it on me, but whatever. The whole Veloster thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty good thing that happened.
Well, I drive a Veloster now. It's awesome.
Wow.
It's the best thing ever. Well, my daughter plays soccer in Toronto, and the truck was like $600 a week in fuel. So
Yeah.
And then we bought a truck that Kelly got, which is like a sick AT4 lifted with big fat rims. And then, so Kelly's driving that. And then one of our guys got in an accident and rode off his Dodge Nitro. Someone keyed it in the parking lot. So it was a write off. He legitimately smashed it. So he took my pickup out of the yard. And so now I'm like literally just driving this Veloster around. Like I went up to a cottage. A friend of mine bought a cottage lot, and so I was been up there the last 2 days. And I get up there, and it's like a cottage full of contractors, and there's like Denali this, AT4 that, like Yukon this, huge trucks everywhere, and I'm ripping in there in this Veloster. And I'm like, hey,
That's what sets you apart.
and it's got 3 doors, so it's cheaper on insurance. You know, a 2-door Veloster. You got to add the weird third door to it. Just go on.
I have never owned a car in my life, like ever. My first, yeah, my first vehicle was a truck, and I've had trucks ever since. I mean, my wife has a car, our car, I suppose, but I've never had like a passenger car ever.
Really? I've had a few, but not as nice as the Veloster. So maybe someday could sponsor us.
Yeah.
They don't even make that car anymore, do they?
Yeah, I think they. Well, to be honest, I'm not up on the latest model of the Velosters. So I have no idea if they still make it. When we were up there, someone's like, "What year is this car?" I'm like, "I don't know."
I don't know.
You don't know what
Does it
year
matter?
this is? I'm like, bro, listen, I'm not overtly attached to this Veloster, but right now my life has dictated that this is how I roll. I roll in this Veloster. You know, this is it. This is the way it goes for me. This is what my daughter needs me to do right now, so this is what I'm doing.
When is it getting the Paver King wrap done on it and all that getting decked out?
Not kidding. I went to a meeting in it. I showed up on it. I went to a job we're starting, and I had never met the homeowner because we placed it through a designer, and I had never actually even been to the house. We're starting the job in like 2 days, and I was like, "Fuck, maybe I should go here." Like just to see, like, I have looked at this on Google Earth, and that's been my because times are so good at the moment. Like you can go get a job without even literally going to the house until 2 days before you start the work. And when I got there, I quickly concluded, well, I guess we'll have to take the roof off the E20 because we're not getting through the carport otherwise. Sick. But the lady who owned the house came out, and I got out of the Veloster, and she's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm your landscape contractor." God, I look like a pro right now. I am not gonna. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I still don't have a truck. I keep everything in this three door, not 2-door, 3-door hatchback.
Don't tell me you had. Were you in tennis shoes, like running shoes? You didn't show up to the job with running shoes, did you?
I think I was wearing running shoes because
No, that's my biggest thing.
trying to keep the Veloster clean.
If I see a contractor show up in running shoes anywhere, just burns my arse. I don't know. It's a personal thing, I think. But the feedback, I don't get it at the local supplier or whatever, but I get messages all the time about like an inside joke or something. "Oh, I love this part," or "This is great, keep it up." Like, and that really does it for me. Like, I can't be more honored than that, like to be a part of this. And I've said ever since the beginning, like, I have no clue why I'm on here with you guys, but like, I'm honored just to be part of this. And I'm further honored every time someone sends me a message saying how much they love it.
Yeah, I'm well, you're on it because you're Chad.
Well, there's only one of me, so
Exactly. We needed the tattooed guy that fucking people rejected immediately. Like, I have one tattoo. I didn't fucking cut it. You need the tattooed guy. Every podcast needs, if you don't have a tattooed guy, then who are you? Like,
we're like the token black guy, but for
that's why you're gonna get
landscaping. Is that what
that's why you're gonna get us canceled.
insinuating?
Yeah, that's why.
That's why you're gonna get us canceled. You have 2 microphones going, Mike.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk.
Wow, that's 4 mics on the podcast.
There's your 4th Mount Rushmore tattoo.
There you go. Exactly. My computer's on the fritz too. It's asking me to join another meeting. Are we starting another meeting?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, all your microphones are gone.
Okay, can you
You're
hear
down to
me?
one mic. Yeah, you're down to
Okay.
one though.
Okay, hopefully this is working and we're not going to lose our recording.
Oh,
But can you guys see my screen?
Are you gonna lose the
Yeah.
whole episode?
Wouldn't that be nuts, eh?
Wait, is that coming up on your
Are you
screen or
seeing
on my
this?
screen? Does it say Zoom Cloud Meeting?
Okay, it's doing a countdown. 29, 32, 35.
Okay, here we go.
Awesome.
So we're doing our Spotify wraps. So this is our stats for the year as chosen by Spotify. So this is going to wrap up this episode, our year in review here. So this is our Spotify wrapped. All right, can you guys see this?
Yes.
It's
crazy.
dancing on your screen.
Yeah. I
Cool.
really like
Yeah.
the lunchbox.
I do too.
I do too, actually.
Okay, we're going to jump in here.
Jump in. In 2022, you did your thing, and the people loved it. Well, the people loved it. I added the and. Empty space. Perfect for podcasting.
Okay, we already did this. 987 new minutes of content, 91% more than other creators in the business. Chad, are you okay?
No, my computer's fucked.
You can't
Thanks.
hear us, but we're clapping right now.
We'll read it to you, Chad.
Okay, thank you.
You
Okay,
can't
this
hear
is-
us, but we're clapping right now. I can't believe my
Oh.
computer's.
Can you
Please.
guess your number one episode? Please do not sue us. The hardest way to earn a living, or Veloster or die.
It's got to be the first one.
I think it's the number one episode.
Everybody starts with number one.
Please don't sue us.
And our first number one episode is, yeah, we got it. The Please Do Not Sue Us has 103% more streams than our average episode.
Ooh. Well, you said sometimes people go back to the beginning, right?
I think so. Ooh, our podcast loves to travel.
To Dominican. We established that long ago. And Australia.
Here's our top 5 countries. We were heard in 6 countries. Top 5 countries. Number 1. What do you think it is,
Canada.
Chad?
I see Canada now.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah, it's just bouncing back and forth all
Alright.
over the place. The screen's opening and closing, and windows
Canada?
are popping up. And
United States. People in Denmark are listening to this podcast.
do you think on
Belgium.
purpose, or do you think it means something else out there?
I think people in Belgium are listening because their soccer team sucks.
Ooh.
It does.
Way to
What do you
alienate our third top country.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure in Belgium they know the soccer team sucks more than we do here. Pretty confident. And Australia.
Australia, number 5, which means we've only been heard in 6 countries. So Dominican Republic must be the last one.
Something magical happened between September 18th and September 24th. You had 34% more listeners compared to your average week.
I wonder what episode was September 18th to September 24th.
What percentage of your listeners follow your podcast?
Ooh. What do you guys think? 22%, 11%, or 35%?
35%.
Yeah, sure.
I think we got it. We're in the top 20% most followed podcasts.
Really?
For what?
That's
What's the metric?
All
Canada.
podcasts.
Oh,
That's
all
pretty good.
podcasts?
I would assume so.
What are not our finest hour listeners like exactly?
What are our listeners like?
I'm gonna guess they're landscapers.
I don't think Interlock Ian listens.
Personality
You're
is.
li-
The
The
adventure.
Adventurers listen to us.
Your listeners venture out into the unknown, searching for fresher podcasts and gems yet to be found.
So they're not listening to Joe Rogan.
Our fans are a dedicated bunch. So that September 28th episode was Trash Pumps, Hot or Not.
All right.
34% listen to most of your episodes. That's good.
That's all right. Yeah. 5
Listeners scored your podcast 5. I don't know what that means.
out of 10.
I think out of 5.
Oh,
You and your fans have something special. Do you think there's any one of these where Spotify's like, you and your fans suck ass? I just your top 10 podcast for 96 fans.
Ooh, okay.
Your top 5 podcasts for 64 fans. Your number 1 podcast for 17 fans. Oh, I see what that's saying.
Yeah,
We're
that makes
top
sense.
10. Yeah. So for 17 of our fans, we're the number 1 podcast to listen to. I bet that's my mom and dad because I don't think they listen to any other podcast. My dad texts me. He's like, "Hey, speaking of sharing, we made something special for you."
That's it.
Oh,
that's
18
it.
episodes, 987 minutes, 6 countries. Congratulations, guys. I
Thanks.
wanted to share that with you.
that's awesome.
Great start.
It is. My dad listened to one of the episodes. Like I call him on my way home from hockey every Sunday just to check in. Like, hey, how's it going? He's like, I was just listening to your latest episode. And started, man, I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh shit.
What
Sorry,
did I
Dad.
say? What did I say? Well, he wouldn't be shocked. He's. I think every day that he wakes up and I'm not in jail or fucking dead, he's like, win. Since I
Win.
was like 12 years old, it's like winning. Mike's not in jail or dead.
If you're the Paver King, what does that make him? What's above the king?
Right.
He's. I don't know. He's Jack 2306 or whatever his badge number was at the TTC. That's what he uses for all his social media. He's I was one time when someone thought that like they thought a lot of people thought I owned Lakeridge, and then people thought that my dad had given it to me, and I'm like, yeah, my dad was like a bus driver, and I don't own it. So you're pretty off fucking base here. Like, nothing you think is accurate. But anyways, it's interesting that my parents listened to it. So there you go.
Nice.
Maybe it's a good connection during these hard pandemic times.
I'd be interested in what a young Paver King was like growing up through elementary, middle school, and high school.
A Paver
We
Prince.
should in the making, the Paver King in the making. This should be a documentary where we interview people that you went to school with.
The Paver King origin story.
Yeah.
The Paver King origin stories on the Lakeridge Contracting YouTube channel.
Ooh.
That's the Paver King origin story. That's we were talking about the Geneso TV or whatever it was, Genosa TV.
Yeah.
On the
The
way home,
Portuguese team.
on the way home from that, we were on Eglinton, and it was merging into one lane, and the guy driving the truck, John, just kept edging forward and wouldn't let a car in, and this Lexus drove into the side of the truck. And we're trying to get home. It's like 8:30 o'clock at night. And I was screaming at him, you fucking idiot. Why did you let that car in us? Now they're going to call the cops. And then I got out, and we're at like in the middle of downtown Toronto, and there's all this we're on Eglinton. There's all this chaos. And I'm like, that guy's got a fucking gun. And everyone's like, I was just fucking around. I was pissed off. And the two guys I was like, are you crazy? Like, fuck. Anyway, that whole thing though, the car in the side of us and me is on YouTube on the Lakeridge Contracting YouTube channel.
Oh, that's amazing.
Is this a whole? It's called Lexus drives into our Dodge Ram.
Is that why all Paver King company trucks have firearms in them?
Oh yeah, thanks, man. That one, thanks insurance.
That one for insurance.
That one was from my insurance company. That's the Paver King origin story. Is the Lakeridge Contracting YouTube channel, because we used to post a video on there every week and try to get. And back then, our goal was to get 100 views, because if you get 100 views on your video, you're actually in the top 1% of YouTube.
If you are you still in control of the Lakeridge?
Yeah, I
Contracting?
still control it. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm still in total control of their YouTube channel.
I've actually watched quite a bit of them since looking at the progress bar. So I'm going to try to find that Lexus video and watch that
It's one
tonight.
of the first ones. It's one of the first.
Oh, is
videos.
it?
Yeah, it's one of the first. It's called Our Dodge Ram Hit a Lexus or something. because some guy was recording.
Oh,
like,
I see it.
one of the guys was recording it because he thought we were going to get shot or something, and he wanted it for evidence. I was like, because the guy got out of the car and was freaking, and I was freaking, and John, who was driving, was freaking, and Joe was recording, and there's all actually the actual or there's a video. I don't know if it's on there, but there's a video of me doing a Gangnam style across a parking lot, and I think that was the first video we ever made. Twitter came from Twitter, from actually from a perm conference. They were like, you need to use social media to promote yourself, and they had that Frankie Flowers guy from City TV saying, I got famous because of Twitter. And I was like, oh, I want to be famous. So I started a Twitter account while we were at the fucking Permacon thing and tweeted the guy.
Twitter is such an interesting place to try to grow a audience for a landscaper, right?
It was different back then.
Was it?
There was no Donald Trump and no, like, it was, this is a long time ago. This is like 15 years ago, right? Like,
yeah.
That's why when they locked my Twitter account, because I tweeted one thing about the convoy and they locked my account down, I was like, man, I've had this thing for like 15 years and there's like 5,000 followers. Can I not lose it because of the fucking convoy? Like, was one tweet, one thing, and immediately account locked. And it took me 6 months to get it back. And I had to promise to be good. But now Elon took over, so I did. I had to promise to be good. You had to like sign a thing.
Really? You had to sign a thing saying you wouldn't condone convoy activity and
I wouldn't promote fake news. It
what
was
about-
some.
Did
Sorry?
you donate? Did you donate? Did they freeze your
No.
bank account?
No, I didn't do anything. I literally retweeted Pierre Polyev talking about the convoy. And the next day my account was shut down.
He's the hero.
He's the hero.
Not to Twitter.
The savior.
Twitter does not. Well, maybe now because Elon's in control, but back then, no. I did get my account back.
Does Interlock Ian make a feature on the Lakeridge contracting page?
Potentially. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of showcase videos.
We go way back. There's a lot of like showcase videos. Chad probably remembers those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember all those old ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of like. One time we were like, what? I can't remember them all. We did so much stuff. We used to, every day was some new. We were making some new crazy video, and some of them got a lot of views, but none of them ever went viral. I always wanted to have like one. I have one video on TikTok that has 1.1 million views.
Wow.
Nice.
It's a video, but I'm not even in it. It's no one from
saying.
No one from Paver King is even in it. No one.
Oh, really?
It's a guy we have on the back of our international, the new one. There's one of those chutes. You know those chutes you open and the asphalt comes out? But the truck was full of pea gravel, so they're opening the chute to fill the wheelbarrow. That has 1.1 million views. Of all the shit I've created in my whole life, I think I've created a fair whack of shit. That's the thing that went viral. A video Christy took of someone from Sitescape filling a wheelbarrow with the chute on the back of our truck that's totally unidentifiable. It's just a black dump box. That's what went viral. My second most viral video is Drain Brothers dumping rocks out of the side box. They have one of these Armorstone trucks and the sides all fold down and then they dump the rocks out of the side of the truck instead of unloading them.
Right.
It was sick. It is sick. It's such a cool video. I know why a lot of people watched it, but it has nothing to do with sweet fuck all to do with me. I think the most watched videos I have that I'm actually in are the skid steer safety videos.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, that was a good series. I was just thinking about the pie chart series and why we don't see any more pie charts.
I ran out of ideas. There's a lot. Like you know what? I posted something this week and I'm like, man, I have rehashed whatever it was so many different ways in so many different contexts, but it's still funny if you know what it is. I don't remember what it was. Something I just posted to, but I've rehashed it so many fucking times in so many ways. I remember when Chad was bitter and angry.
Every second week.
Every second week he was bitter and
Just
angry
about.
about someone's product. Like I remember
Yeah.
that's when I was the rep. I remember you giving out beatings to everybody.
Me? Not everybody.
Oh, a couple. You
I
gave us a beating for a while. Then the next thing you did was a wet cast wall from a different manufacturer,
uh
and they
well,
got a beating.
the wet
That
cast wall that deserves it.
They
You
had
know,
it coming.
they had it coming to them. That's
that was a fucking beating. Yeah,
was
and
I don't
it's
remember. Maybe you
you know
probably remember more than I do about this stuff.
I remember it because being a rep, we would all be like, "Did you see what that guy fucking said?"
Really? Holy.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Well,
but
at least he's not saying it about our product anymore. Thank God."
yeah,
We
but
sent him a cease and desist letter, so it's all good.
there are other guys saying much worse things than I ever said.
Oh yeah,
You
there's a
know,
couple guys on there that are just they say negative things because it attracts a lot of attention.
so
But
I
they
was
don't get
maybe
the reach.
revolutionary at the time.
They don't get the reach that NDL has.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't.
NDL has a lot of reach.
I have no clue why.
Influence. Some would say influence.
Someone would say influence, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That sort of plateaued. I'm stuck at however many followers, and it's just going down.
Well, you get the most DMs out of any of us. But the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. I don't know why that is. I'm not overly approachable or anything, so
I
Influence.
think people think you are approachable.
maybe I am.
They relate to you.
Maybe. I suppose they must, and I appreciate it.
They know you're not a
It's the
diva.
tattoos.
That must be it.
They know you're not a diva
Not a diva. Not the
It's true.
diva of the
unless it
group.
comes to a Ford Bronco.
Ah, don't like that. Don't like that car.
Well, guys, congrats on I guess our first 6 months of the podcast, the end of the year, even though we're
Yeah.
recording this a couple weeks beforehand.
That's exciting. 6
Yeah.
months in, baby. I think it's great. I'm super pumped. I love doing it. It's what my favorite things in my whole life. I have a lot
Yeah.
of things that aren't my favorite. So this is one of my favorite.
One of my favorite things right now. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. I have lots of things that I do every day that are not my favorite. So this I enjoy and look forward to every week, guys. Thank you.
End us off for the year there, Mike.
This is the end of the year of the podcast. We don't want any confusion because there has been previous confusion where people thought 2 episodes ago was the end of the year, but it wasn't. This is the actual end of the year. So remember and take this home till next year and never touch another man's fries.